What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. So, Triple G smoked Murata's boots at the weekend. Now, I got mixed feelings on this fight. The first thing is, I gotta say, I was quite surprised that Triple G scored the stoppage. I know he was odds-on favourite, but I don't know, I had some... Even though I haven't even really watched Murata fight, I don't know, I just thought that... I didn't think Triple G was going to get the stoppage, given his recent form. However, at first glance, because I actually missed the fight, I thought the fight was on Saturday night, I actually missed it. So at first glance, when I saw the result, I thought, wow, is Golovkin back kind of thing. Having watched the full fight though, and not just seen the result, I gotta say, Golovkin is certainly washed. He looked painfully painful in there. Do you understand? In as much as he just didn't look himself. I remember Golovkin of old would walk forward, eat shots, and just give them. He'd take a shot to give a shot or two himself, and double down on himself. Now, in this fight, Murata doesn't have the firepower nowhere near of Canelo, and you could see Golovkin was wincing and almost wiltering and almost stumbling backwards under the pressure from Murata. And like I said, Murata wasn't no big pressure fighter or no heavy hitter. Of course, he's a solid individual, but listen, there's levels to this game, and I'm actually certain now that I really do hope the Golovkin fight happens next, because you best believe there's going to be a whole bunch of coin to be made in Canelo stopping Golovkin for the first time in his career. I actually want to see that fight now for that reason. Golovkin will get his cherry popped, I believe, because he looked old. It really does show, and it's quite interesting because for a long time, especially in recent years, we've heard this narrative that, you know, sports science has changed things and 40 is the new 30. Listen, 40 definitely isn't the new 30. It's as simple as that. And one thing I will say, actually, it does to some extent give Floyd Mayweather some credit, because Floyd looked pretty sharp since he was about 41, 42, up until he retired. He looked sharp. Although, I guess it comes down to fighting styles. Golovkin has had a very energy intensive. Golovkin had a young style, coming forward, pressuring, taking a shot, giving a shot. That's a young man style. Yeah, Golovkin's defense has been his great chin. Now, don't get me wrong, he's got a tight defense, but Golovkin doesn't have no head movement. He's straight up and down. He's got a pretty good guard, but in 10-ounce gloves, a pretty good guard, you're still getting hit clean, and he got hit a lot clean. Obviously, in the end, Golovkin's legendary Hall of Fame power was the differentiator here. Even at 40-year-old, Murata just couldn't hold the shots. And really, when you watch the fight, Murata he went out swinging. He really did. 1 minute, even in that round, 1 minute he was getting his own shots off. Next minute, he was under it, and he just kind of broke. He broke under the pressure of a Hall of Famer. And that shows you the class here, people. When you're in there with a Hall of Famer, that's the class difference. That's the class gulf. Murata couldn't hold it, and he broke in the end. Fair play to Golovkin. I didn't expect a stoppage. I was scared about putting coin on the fight. Golovkin was a heavy favourite. I think he was like I think he was like minus 600, minus 700, something like that. He was a huge American odds favourite. I thought, I didn't like it that much, but he went, listen, fair play to him. He proved he came through with the odds, but how he did it, yeah, it didn't look, that for me didn't look like a minus 700 performance. For most of the fight, honestly, throughout the fight, I'm glad I didn't put money on, because it was back and forth. The result doesn't really show how the fight went. If you see the result, oh wow, a round 9 stoppage. For example, think about Canelo's recent fights. I think Caleb Plant was a 10-round stoppage. Billy Joe Saunders was an 8-round stoppage. When you think of them 8 and 10 and 9-round stoppages, this wasn't one of them, was it? Yeah. When Canelo stops people in 9 rounds, it's completely different. It was never going to go any other way. Golovkin versus Murata, that wasn't one of them ones. It looked like honestly, it felt to me like a 60-40 fight. It was back and forth. And really, I'm surprised Murata got stopped. Like I said, he was fighting until the very last minute. I think maybe the shot, like I said, it broke him. The class golf broke him. Being in there with a Hall of Famer broke him. But up until that point, it was pretty even. Obviously, like I said, Golovkin was getting the edge, 60-40, but it was. I would have been, if I'd had a coin on the fight, I'd have been nervous. Golovkin's face, when you think about his earlier fights as well, Golovkin, in my opinion, was dealing with people like Murata a lot cleaner, taking a lot less damage, being a lot more effective. Whereas now, I mean, Golovkin looked as bad, as worse for wear as Murata did in terms of the appearance damage. He looked like he'd been in there with a beast. No, obviously the jury's kind of out on Murata. We won't know for another few years how great he is, but let's be real now. Does anyone here think Murata gives Canelo any problems? I don't. But yet the same can't be said the other way. Murata categorically gave Golovkin problems, and it was at his own game as well. Yeah, there's different types of problems in boxing. For example, Erislandy Lara gave Canelo problems, but that wasn't. Lara didn't beat Canelo at his own game. Golovkin, I mean, of course he's gonna now. Now Golovkin's so old and he's so there. There's no reason not to get the bag now. Of course he's going to fight Canelo now, but if it wasn't for such a big bag, really, Golovkin's finished. Let's be real now. Golovkin should retire. If it wasn't for, or if Golovkin wants to maintain his integrity and his resume and his legend, he should retire, because he's going to get his cherry popped. Is it worth it? Is it worth selling your KO? I mean, is it worth Golovkin selling that mystery about how good his chin is? You tell me. I guess $100 million or $50 million is a lot of money. That's real money you can spend, but I don't know. Golovkin's made a whole bunch of money. Does he need it? We're going to find out. But I really do believe the writing's on the wall for Golovkin. He will be stopped based on that performance. Now, people can say, oh, but he's going to get better for Canelo. He's done. He's 40-year-old. He ain't getting better. He's getting older. He's going to be another 6 months older. Also, the damage and the wear he's taken in that Murata fight, all these things compound over time. It adds up, and I remember 5 years ago now, or 4 years ago, in Golovkin vs Canelo 2, he was looking old then. And we're now 4 years later, 4 fights later, damage later. It's not a good look, personally. And I think, again, I understand there's no way Golovkin's going to throw away the 50 million now. He's going to go in there. But talking about the spirituality of the sport, he should really retire and not take the fight, in my opinion. Save that, whatever you've got left, save it. Yeah? Save your, what's the word I'm thinking of? Save that legend of Golovkin. Because what we know is, if you go in there with Canelo and get stopped, as I believe you would, that legend's gone then. You'll be known as the man who got his cherry popped by Canelo. All Golovkin's going to do is basically sell. He's going to sell his booty to the legend of Canelo. The only person this fight benefits, apart from financially, putting finances to one side, the only person the fight's going to benefit is Canelo. It's going to add to his legend. Wow. The only man to stop Golovkin. One of the greatest fighters of the last 10, 15, 20 years. Meanwhile, Golovkin gets a check, but will Golovkin be able to sleep at night knowing his cherry's been popped? I don't know. Maybe Golovkin's going to go away and come back a new man. I'm telling you now, I will be betting on a stoppage. in that fight. He's too slow, too old. His reactions are too slow. His power's gone down a lot, I believe. The fact that Murata was able to stand there, I was surprised. I thought Murata was going to come out and do a kind of boxy thing. No, he came straight out and they banged away together for 9 rounds. That shows you how much Golovkin's deteriorated. People couldn't hang with Golovkin, full stop. Murata was in there toe to toe the whole night. So, fair play to Golovkin. I think he should retire now. Save his respect for himself, kind of thing. Save the legend. And that's my opinion. Equally though, when the fight does happen, I am excited to see the greatness of Canelo. And I believe that will be realised against Golovkin. Yeah, no doubt.